What's up guys? Now, if you find yourself on this video, you're thinking about getting the Sony A6700, but you're not sure if you should get the 16mm F1.4 lens from Sigma or just roll with the kit lens. Well, in this video, I'm going to discuss both, and by the end of the video, you'll have a good idea of which one you should actually go with. This is the Sigma 16mm F1.4. Now, it's a beautiful lens that has a wide focal length and a fast f1.4 aperture that really makes it perform like a dream in low light. It's also quiet, it's fast, and it's well made. And it's really no wonder why this lens is really popular among photographers and videographers and content creators like myself. It also performs really well with the Sony A6700, which by itself is a beast, but more of that in another video. And this is also the full frame equivalent to a 24mm lens. Now, on the flip side, we have the Sony A6700 kit lens, the Sony EPZ 16 to 50mm f3.5 to 5.6 OSS lens. This lens it's super compact, it's very light. It actually has a retractable lens as well with powered zoom, which is really nice. And it gives you a good range between, you guessed it, 16 to 50mm, which makes it a really versatile lens. And one of the things that this lens has that the Sigma does not have is image stabilization. And this can come in handy when you're doing any handheld shots, especially if you are doing video. It's gonna really come in handy. And I think you'll notice the difference there between the two lenses. And this lens is the full frame equivalent to a 24 to 75mm lens. All right, so next up, let's just talk a little bit about build quality. And we're gonna talk about the Sony kit lens first. And one of the things I will say about this lens is that it is very, very light. It's super compact. You know, it's plastic. It's not the highest quality lens that you can find out there. The zoom, the button is actually pretty, it feels pretty decent. And the zoom is relatively smooth as well when you're using it on your camera. But it's just a kit lens. And I know that might sound bad. Kit lenses are not necessarily always all bad, but it's a kit lens. It's not a very expensive lens. It's going to get the job done for you. It's light, it's very compact. Like I said, it's going to have a nice form factor on your camera if you want to be a little discreet. That's nice. But from a build quality standpoint, it's okay. It's okay. Okay, so let's talk about lens quality when it comes down to the Sigma 16 f1.4. Now, this lens is very different from the kit lens. This lens is very well built. It has a nice sleek design and it has a very simplistic focus ring as well. But this build quality it's actually really good. And I think it's very well made. And you know, you definitely will not feel like you're buying something that is cheap and low quality. This is definitely money well spent. Now, let's talk about image quality next. So when it comes down to image quality, when you're taking photos, you're definitely going to notice a big difference between these two lenses. And I'm really just going to do a comparison between the two at the 16mm focal length, since the Sigma does not zoom. So here you can see a big difference between the photos in terms of bokeh. I mean, look, bokeh really makes photos pop in many instances. And depending on what you're photographing, that's exactly what you want. Now, the kit lens, on the other hand, is limited in a sense because its largest aperture is f3.5, and this gives a clear advantage to the Sigma in this respect. And also, since the Sigma has a larger aperture at f1.4, you can also get some great shots even in low light, and that's going to be a big difference that you're going to notice. You're going to notice a lot more noise with the kit lens if you try to shoot in lower light situations. It can be done to a point, but you're going to hit a wall much sooner than with the Sigma f1.4. All right, so let's talk about video performance next. Now, video performance wise, you can see a difference here. The Sigma clearly has a lot more depth of field than the kit lens. And for handheld shots, the kit lens is going to be more stable with the optical steady shot. So that's something you're definitely going to notice the difference on. By the way, if you guys want a comparison between the 16mm f1.4 in this shot versus the kit lens, then I'm going to go ahead and show you right now. So right now I'm shooting on the 16mm f1.4 Sigma, and this is the kit lens. Now, obviously this is a lot darker, and that's because of that 3.5 aperture that we talked about in this video. Let me go ahead and try to play around with some of the settings to get it looking a little bit more like the other footage, and then you'll be able to see the actual difference. Okay, and so this is probably closer to the other footage. I can increase the light on me a little bit more, but this is pretty much the difference between both. Obviously, you see a lot more in focus in the background versus the Sigma. If you like the blurry background with the Sigma lens, then you already know which one you want to go with if you shoot videos like this. All right, guys, so let's talk about the cost. So if you pick up the A6700 with the kit lens, you're going to be looking at about $1,500 at this time of recording right now. If you just get the A6700 body, it's about $1,400. And then the Sigma 16mm F1.4 is about $450 right now. And that's actually a bit more than when I got mine, which was about $350 or so. But that's the price right now. So for about $450 for the Sigma lens, and then about $1,400 for the body. If you want to go ahead and get the kit lens, like I said, it's going to be about $1,500. So which one should you get? Now, I think that it's going to be depending on what you actually shoot and the versatility that you need. With the kit lens to start out with, it's perfectly fine to go ahead and start with that. You can get some decent photos and some good video, but I think you're going to hit the wall at some point and you're going to need something a bit more in terms of quality, in terms of bokeh, and especially if you're shooting videos like this, you're going to just want that better, higher quality video feel, and that is what you're going to get with this lens, the 16mm lens. So my recommendation, honestly, is if you can afford it, I would go ahead and get the Sigma 16 F1.4 just straight out the gate. Don't even worry about getting the kit lens. But if you're somebody who is, you know, a photographer and you're kind of dabbling, you're not really sure what type of photos you want to take, and this is just kind of something fun for you and you need something versatile, then the kit lens is going to be decent to start out with, and then you can kind of go from there in terms of what other lenses to get. If you're doing video and you're shooting videos like this, the Sigma hands down is going to be a much better option for you, and I would highly recommend that. It's just a better all-around lens, and like I said before at the beginning of the video, there's a reason why this lens is so popular. It's just an incredible lens. By the way, if you found this video to be helpful, hit the like button for me. Also hit that subscribe button for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next video.